Satnam, and welcome to day 6 of mindfulness. So, today I'm going to take a really important subject which determines our whole life. When we talk about koshas, the pancha koshas, breath is so important to us. It's an integral part of our life. We are alive because of our breath. Can you stop breathing for even 10 minutes? No, you can't. You're breathing all the time. But if you're breathing wrong, and believe me, you'll be shocked to know how many of us are breathing wrong. When you're breathing wrong, you are snuffing your life out, you're shortening your lifespan, inviting diseases, inviting bad health. And let me start by confessing to you that for 50 years of my life, I've been that one guy who I'm talking about in that whole large population who's always had the breath the wrong way. Now, what do I mean by the wrong breath? And it started for me in college. I started putting on weight. So, to impress the girls, who doesn't want to impress girls, right? I would walk with my stomach tucked in, yeah, and I would breathe into the chest. And it worked. The stomach looked less. And when nobody was looking, I would be sitting down like this. The point is that most of the time when you were standing in people in front of, in the class, you were always breathing into the chest and not breathing into the stomach. Why? Because when you breathe into the stomach comes out. You don't want that. It looks horrible. So you breathe into the chest. Now that's a disaster because really what that oxygen is doing, it's going into your blood cells. It's nourishing your whole body. It's nourishing your brain. That oxygen, when it reaches the end of the diaphragm, it's nourishing you to such a large extent that is where your chakras are getting aligned. That is where your skin is shining and glowing. That's where everything is going right in your life. When you are not getting breath, you get delusional. When you are really short of breath, you can go mad. Now, when you are not getting so much short breath that you're going mad, but you're getting enough short breath, you're not going totally mad, but your brain cells are still freaking out. Your nervous system is still freaking out. What you really want to do is put your hand on your stomach right now and just breathe in a way that your stomach is coming out. It doesn't look good because your stomach is looks like you have a belly or something. But that's the way it's supposed to be. Look at little children. Look at children who are less than 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. They're breathing into the stomach. Something happens to us that we stop breathing in the stomach and start breathing in the chest. So that's part one of what I want to tell you about breathing. Breathe into the diaphragm, into the stomach, into the belly. That's where your hara is. What the Japanese call the hara, the Chinese call the chi. It's really important. I have studied Aikido and I have seen the black belts just taking their legs or their hand and just touching a brick. And that brick just breaks by just a touch. Where does that power come from? It comes from the hara. It comes from your belly button. When you're breathing into the belly, you're giving it so much power. And you're taking away so much power by breathing into the chest. So now, what are you going to do to become aware of your breathing? But now I'll tell you, you'll say, oh yes, I'll breathe from the stomach from now on. And as soon as you walk out, maybe 5 minutes later, you're going to start breathing into the chest again because it's a habit. How do you break that habit? You do pranayama. Now, my problem with pranayama is a lot of teachers will tell you what to do. They will tell you to do Anulom Vilom. They're doing all this. They're doing Kapalbhati, but they're not telling you the right way. So very briefly, this is a big subject. Pranayama is a really big subject. If you are doing Anulom Vilom, first of all, you're not crushing and smashing your nose into each other. It's a very gentle. First of all, you're doing the Vishnu Mudra. So you're taking the first 2 fingers inside. The last 2 fingers are open. And with this mudra, this is the mudra, and your spine is absolutely straight. And you're gently touching your right nostril. You breathe into your right nostril. Breathe into the diaphragm. Now, this is where the habit will come in. This is how it will become a habit. You're breathing into the diaphragm from the left nostril. Then touching gently your left nostril, you breathe out from the right. Inhale from the right again. Exhale from the left. And continue for as long as you can, but stop The second you feel a little bit tired, now this is the most important instruction, that you stop as soon as you feel a little bit tired. The second most important instruction is that the crown of the head should be higher than the forehead. So you're not doing like this. No, I see a lot of people, when I go for my morning walk on Carter Road, I see a lot of people doing that. But my wife has taught me one thing. I'm a very good student. My wife taught me to shut up. Don't go up to random people and tell them, boss, you're doing it wrong. So now I control myself most of the times. But what I want to tell you is that keep the crown of the head higher than the forehead. That's the way the brain relaxes. The neck is what is called the mild Jalandhar Bandha. So when you're doing it, and the last thing I want to tell you, the really important part, is that your spine has to be absolutely straight. Okay? Whether you want to sit in Vajrasana, Sukhasana, Padmasana. Padmasana is the best. A lot of people can't sit in Padmasana. That's fine. But the spine has to be straight. Again with the Vishnu Mudra. This is something you do. If you have a yoga practice, best to do it after the yoga practice. Okay, this is best to do before your meditation because this will calm your mind down. The second instruction about breathing exercises, pranayam, is Kapalbhati. Why I have to tell you? It's because you see a YouTube video, you see TV, somebody coming on these channels and they're saying, Kapalbhati is good for you, Kapalbhati is amazing for you, Kapalbhati does this for you. It's good for fat loss. That's the magic word nowadays, fat loss. So you hear about fat loss and you say, I want to do Kapalbhati. And then again, on Carter Road when I'm walking, I'm seeing these people sitting and you're doing, you're freaking yourself out. You're freaking your nervous system out. There's only one correct way to do Kapalbhati. You're sitting with your spine straight. Your face is really calm. There's no stress on your brain. And you gently, softly. Again, the crown of the head is higher than the forehead. You're not doing this. The crown of the head is higher than the forehead. Neck is in a mild Jalandhar Bandha. And very softly, very gently, you're putting pressure on your navel to give out that exhalation. The reason why you're not stressing your face, what you see most of the people do, is you're freaking your nervous system out. I even see it in the gym. I'm going to the gym and I'm seeing this, guy and he's got this weight and that pressure he's putting on his nervous system, I guarantee he's going to go mad in a very short while. So, don't put pressure on your nervous system. Be mindful of what your breathing is, what it does for you. Be mindful of the diaphragm. Be mindful of the fact whether you're breathing from the chest, your solar plexus, or your diaphragm, or your belly button. Breathe in from the belly button. That's where you really want to breathe out. And if you are doing pranayam, if you want to do pranayam, which you should be, but if you are doing it, be mindful of the correct technique to do it. Otherwise, you are doing yourself more harm than good. Breathing is really important for you. There's stuff I want to talk to you about as far as the kriyas are concerned for breathing. I do the Jal Niti every day. People think Jal Niti is good for cold, for sinus. It's good for your life. It activates your Ajna chakra. It's a separate subject altogether. We're going to talk about that later. But your breath is what nourishes every cell in your body. It nourishes every organ. Your breath is what detoxifies. The oxygen in your breath is what detoxifies you constantly, all the time. Be mindful of your breath. Be aware of your posture. Because if, people who are sitting like this all day, they're walking like this, your whole chakras are collapsing. Your anahata chakra is collapsing. Your breath is not going where it's supposed to go. When you're sitting like this, your breath is going exactly where it should be going. Be mindful of this most powerful healer in your life. It's not the doctor, it's not the yogi, it's not your guru, it's not nobody else, it's your breath. The breath is God. Breath is what we meditate on. It's so important that when we're sitting in dhyan, we meditate on the breath. Be mindful of your breath. Breathe wisely, breathe sensibly, breathe into the diaphragm. Live happily, live healthily, ever after. See you tomorrow. Start now.